Good evening. Welcome to the Midnight Clinic. Did you have an appointment with us today? Oh, wonderful. Could I get your first and last name then, please? Okay. Yes, you're here for the fledgling vampire checkup, is that right? Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I'm very glad that you're here. I hope you didn't have too much trouble finding the place. We, of course, need to remain rather secretive and hidden so that it's not accidentally discovered by mortals. But, of course, we still need our patients to be able to find their way here. Your sire gave you excellent directions. Wonderful. That is very, very good to hear. Well, then, allow me to introduce myself. My name is Agatha. I will be doing your examination today. It's going to be rather simple. We're going to be checking your cranial nerves, you see. You might have experienced something like this when you were still mortal, but now that you are among the eternal undead, there are certainly going to be some differences. A bit of an understatement, really. So I just want to check to make sure that you are progressing at the rate that you should. Now, every new vampire develops skills and tendencies at their own pace. So it's just my job to see where you are in the timeline and, offer any sort of support that you might need to make sure that your turn is successful and set you up for success in the rest of your life as a vampire as well. Alright. Now, this first part is going to be perhaps a little bit tedious, but it's very important. I just have a simple questionnaire that I'd like to go through with you, alright? We'll talk about how your transition went, general health, things like that, as well as how your feedings have been going, how you've been adapting to the new lifestyle, things like that, alright? Is that okay with you? Alright, wonderful. Now, you already said your first and last name here. Just, could you spell your last name for me? Alright, good. Just want to make sure it matches our records here. Alright, now, how long has it been since you're turning? Oh, you're brand new, aren't you? You look remarkably in control of yourself, actually, for being that early on. I see, your sire took good care of you. Who is your sire, exactly? I am no longer surprised. Wonderful. I don't think that she's ever sired someone before, actually. Not that I know of, at least. Interesting. Alright, and what was your biological age at the time of your turning? Alright. Your date of birth, exactly? Okay. Of course, that will remain your biological age for the rest of your existence, though not your chronological age, of course. So there will be that sort of distinction that people ask you. Alright, now obviously the process of transitioning can be rather traumatic, but do you remember any specific things that were complications during your transformation? Perhaps large blocks of your memory that you don't have, any sort of fainting or prolonged pain after the fact? Okay, good. Alright. Have you experienced any unusual sensations after your turning? Things like tingling, numbing, or burning, sense the change, particularly around your bite, but anywhere else as well. Okay, all right. Yes, that tingling, it's rather normal. It's just as, around the source of the bite, it's where the life was sucked out of you, I suppose, if you put it in a very, very simple term. So that should subside. Is it really intense tingling or just sort of something that you notice now and then? All right, good. As long as it's not incredibly uncomfortable. As I said, that should fade too. Have you been experiencing any lingering fatigue or lightheadedness? All right, a little bit between feelings. Understandable as well. Especially young vampires need to feed more often than older vampires. I'm sure your sire has told you that as well. Have you noticed your senses, your sight, your hearing, or your smell have become sharper? Or do they feel particularly overstimulated? Okay. Yes, the sensitivity to light. Again, hopefully that will regulate itself out a little bit, but that is very common and perfectly normal, yes. That's why I tend to keep our room here nice and dim. Is it too bright for you, or are you comfortable in here? Okay, good. Well, if at any time it starts to get uncomfortable, please do let me know. Yes, the lights are, it can be a little bit cumbersome. Obviously, the sunlight is not particularly good for vampires, but some vampires do have a sensitivity to artificial light as well. Some homes that you'll go to with vampires use very, very low lighting or have little dimming switches in all of their rooms so that they can keep the lights nice and low. Or they prefer to use candles, which actually fits into the aesthetic rather nicely, so, to each their own. But not all vampires experience that level of sensitivity. Some people can be in fluorescent lighting, no problem, while others, it is rather bothersome. For me, personally, I don't like fluorescent lighting, but it's actually about the little buzzing sound. Yes, quite annoying, really. Okay. Well, we would certainly keep an eye on that. If you would like any sort of help, we have some wonderful companies that we work with that make very intensely polarized sunglasses that can help traversing normal life. But hopefully that won't be particularly necessary, because obviously you don't want to spend your entire life explaining to everyone why you're wearing sunglasses indoors. Alright, now the next few questions are going to be about your feedings thus far, alright? Have you had your first proper feeding yet? And if so, was it synthetic, was it animal, or was it human blood? Okay, alright. No, that's very good, especially when you're starting out. I know that quite a few vampires choose to feed on animals instead of humans for moral reasons. That's perfectly understandable. But an animal's blood is not going to give you the nutrition that human blood will give you. You might start to feel yourself getting a bit dizzy or your mind a bit foggy because you're not getting that life essence from humans. So I really, really suggest to have at least 40% of your diet be human blood, and only 60% at the very most be animals or synthetic. Now, of course, there are perfectly humane ways to partake of blood from humans and from animals that, will not cause any permanent damage, but I really, really do suggest at least 40% human. With younger vampires, I would really say more like 50-50 at the very least. But it's good that you've been feeding on humans, at least your first feeding. Do you have a reliable source for your feeding? Perhaps a donor or a human friend, or connections where you can get blood bags? Ah, good, good. Yes, I'm sure that your sire has all of the details worked out for that. Wonderful. Have you done any hunting yet? And how have those hunts gone? Okay, right. No, that's all right. Hunting animals is actually quite a good way to start. To hone your hunting skills, I suppose. Now, have you been able to refrain from killing your prey when you were hunting? Good, good. That is wonderful. Wonderful to have that restraint. Many young vampires do not, but of course, because your sire is very, very thorough, I'm sure that she has been teaching you very well. Good. Now, after you have a feeding, do you feel satisfied for a while, or do you have sort of persistent hunger even right after feeding? Okay, good. Mostly. Again, that will go down with time as well. Yes, and as I said before, the length of time in between feedings can also be prolonged. The longer that you are a vampire, your body will not need sustenance quite as often. But when you're brand new, the periods where you're not hungry sometimes seem like they're less than the periods when you are. It's quite intense, I understand. That's why we make sure that fledgling vampires like yourself have the proper care to make sure that you have the resources and the help that you need. Alright. Have you experienced any nausea, cramping, or dizziness, or any other discomfort directly after feeding? Right, good. Now, have you noticed any aversions to specific blood types? Okay, sure. Yes, some vampires, that's actually more common in older vampires. Sometimes they develop preferences that then turn into, aversions, things like that. But just good to know. There are certain skills that we can teach you, to be able to identify different blood types by smell even before you bite someone. So if you do have an aversion to a certain type, you can avoid them. Your sire has already taught you that. Of course she has. Alright. Now, as far as your adaptation to vampire life, how are you adjusting to the change in your sleep cycle? Have you been able to get some good rest properly during the day? Okay. Hopefully that will get a bit better too, as, again, your body gets used to not being alive anymore. Now, do you feel safe where you are, the place that you are? Do you have a coffin that seals and all of those necessities to keep you safe while you're sleeping? Good, good. With your sire, I'm sure. It's just a question that I need to ask. Have you experienced any sort of intense mood swings, irritability, or periods of intense emotion? Okay, around feeding, yes, that's, again, understandable, especially in a young vampire. Now, as far as the extra strength goes, have you been able to adjust to that, or have you had some accidents where you don't know your own strength? Sure, a few broken glasses here and there. Well, I suppose right on that line, have your healing abilities kicked in yet? Do you heal very quickly? Good, good. Glad to hear it. Now that will, of course, get faster as you get older as well. Now, obviously having multiple injuries, it does slow down the process a little bit too. Still a good idea to avoid harm, especially at the beginning as a fledgling vampire. Don't go, hurting yourself just to test your healing abilities. Please don't do that. But it's good to know that they are progressing. Right. Now, of course, sunlight is difficult, but you did say you were already having some sensitivity to light. Have you experienced sensitivity to anything else? Particular smells, maybe, that make you nauseous, or headaches around certain sounds, aversion to religious symbols, anything like that you've noticed? Okay. Yes. Good idea to avoid those. Have you noticed any changes to your memory or your cognitive abilities, your ability to focus, anything like that? Okay. Yes, that, we call it the red haze. When you're starting to get hungry, your senses do sort of become a bit more animalistic. Another reason that makes, young vampires so dangerous is that sometimes the need to feed takes over the human rationale. So that is perfectly normal as well, but again, should fade the more that you are a vampire. Alright, did you have any pre-existing medical conditions or chronic illnesses or anything like that before you were turned? Okay. Well, I'm happy to say that one will not be affecting you anymore. There are some conditions, of course, that, well, tie over. Things like mental illnesses don't just magically go away, although it is rather fun to have so many more new abilities. And hopefully you wanted to be turned. I'm sure with your sire you did. Good. Alright, any sort of mental difficulties like depression or anxiety or learning disabilities that we should know about? Because we do have ways to help treat that. It's going to be different than the medication you took when you were living, but we do have very, very effective substitutes that we can discuss if you need to. Okay, sure. Yes, I will have my pharmacist look at that and make a recommendation, alright? Good. And of course, it's perfectly up to you how you want to take them. And, we can switch and try a few different ones if something doesn't seem like it's working. Alright, have you developed any new habits or cravings outside of blood? Okay. Yes, it is nice that we can still enjoy some nice red wine, isn't it? Some vampires have the ability to stomach a very rare cooked steak or meat, something where there is quite a bit of blood still in it. Things like blood sausage, maybe, but not all vampires can. So if you have a craving for certain things, please just be careful. Eat a very, very small amount. See how it affects you. Don't overdo it out of gusto. Right, how have you been handling social interactions? I'm sure your sire has, plenty of people around in her home, but have you been able to control your hunger in crowds of people? Haven't really had that experience yet. Alright, no, that's perfectly fine. Alright, have you noticed any unusual abilities developing? Things like reading minds, being very, very persuasive, telekinesis perhaps? Okay. Yes, some vampires have wonderful little extra abilities. But again, they do develop as you grow. So, and some vampires don't get any of them. We're all a bit, able to persuade people to do what we want and, wipe the memories of people that you've hunted and fed off of course. Some vampires do develop more powers than that. With your sire, I wouldn't be surprised if you did, but maybe it's just not showing up yet. Perfectly normal again. Alright, do you have a support system in place? A sire, coven, anything like that? Yes, I'm sure you do. Good. With your sire, I would not be surprised if you are the most well taken care of fledgling vampire to ever exist. Alright, good. Okay, anything else that you think that I should know about your transformation, your lifestyle so far? Anything like that I didn't ask you? Okay, but if you think of anything else, do please let me know, alright? That is all that I have for the questionnaire. And now I'm going to do just a very simple examination, alright? I'll start out just sort of inspecting your skin, your bite mark, of course, just making sure that everything looks okay there. We'll test your eyesight, your hearing, see how things differ from when you were a human, things like that, okay? Alright, if at any time I'm doing anything that makes you uncomfortable, please let me know. It should all be rather straightforward, but you never know. Just want to be sensitive to that. Alright. Going to put on a pair of gloves then, alright? I'm going to start out with a skin examination. Now, of course, as a vampire, your skin is going to be much, much colder. You no longer have blood running through your veins the same way. So, while a human's standard temperature is 98.6 or 7, yours is going to be, well, we'll see what it is, but quite a bit chillier, I would assume. Now, is it alright if I touch your face? Okay, I just want to feel the skin here. Yes, definitely quite a bit colder. I would estimate somewhere around maybe 45 degrees or so. It will probably still go down a little bit from there, but that feels like it is progressing nicely. You might also notice your skin feeling a bit, I don't want to say stiffer, but just more resilient, I suppose. A bit less malleable. That is, of course, part of not being alive anymore, but it will also help to preserve you in the physical state that you are now. Alright. Any discomfort when I'm pressing around the face here, under your eyes? Good. And around the jaw here, any sort of discomfort? Good. Alright, and where exactly was your bite mark? Alright, good. Would you mind if I take a bit of a closer look with the lights? Okay. Let me grab my little light here. Now, I'm just going to take a quick look right here. Okay, could you turn your head a bit for me? Thank you. Oh, good. It's already almost just a little scar. Wonderful. Your healing abilities have certainly kicked in then, haven't they? Good. Now, when I press there may be a bit of sensitivity, but does it feel painful per se? Okay, just that little bit of sensitivity, yes. It is, of course, a bite. It's going to be a little bit tender, but that, again, should heal with time, as long as it is not particularly painful. It doesn't look like there's any sort of infections or anything like that. Again, with your sire, I would be surprised if there was, because I'm sure that she's taking excellent care of you. Alright, good. Now, do you mind if I take a look at your eyes? Okay. Alright, I'm just going to start out taking a close look at your pupils and see if they are still dilating at the proper speed, okay? So you don't have to look at the light, you can just look at my nose if you would like, or just sort of off to the distance. I'm just going to take a quick peek here. Okay, good. Good. Now on this side. Alright. Good. Definitely some good dilation there. Now I'm going to hold my hand right here. Just keep looking off to the side, okay? Good. Just want to check your consensual pupil dilation. They should constrict at the same speed even when only one pupil has a light shining in it, which is fun. That's wonderful. Sometimes with the transformation, things like that can need some resetting, I suppose. Now, it did seem as though this was hurting your eyes a bit, is that correct? Alright, we can do the rest of the tests without this light, okay? I've got just another light here. It's just a little glow stick, but it is a much more gentle light. So we'll see if this one is okay, alright? Now, I'm going to ask you to just follow this light with your eyes, alright? There we go. So I'm just going to hold this up, this little point. I want you to just follow this with your eyes. Try not to move your head or neck. Just follow it around, okay? Good, good, good. Wonderful. Good. Very good reflexes. Yes, I'm sure you've noticed that already. Excellent. Okay, now I'm going to ask you to just focus on different points, alright? It might be my finger or it might be the light, and I'll be moving them at different depths as well, okay? Very simple. Just look with your eyes, try not to move your head again, and just focus on where I'm saying as soon as you can. Alright, so let's start out. Focus on the light here, okay? Good. Now could you look at my finger? Good. Now back to the light. Good. Now look at my finger. Good. Now back to the light. Good. Now look at my nose. Good. Now the light. Good. Now my finger. Good. Now the light. Now my finger. Good, 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 good. Look at my nose, please. Good. Now the light. Good. Now my finger. Good. Now the light. Good. Now my finger. Good. Now the light. Good. Good, good, good. Yes, just follow that light. Good. Now my finger. Wonderful, excellent. Looks like your reflexes and your focus are working very, very well. That's good. Now I want you to just look at my nose for this one, okay? I'm going to be holding up different numbers with my fingers, but I don't want you to specifically look at them. Just sort of notice them in the periphery of your vision, okay? And tell me which numbers I'm holding up as quickly as you can, right? Okay. Good. 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 Excellent. Excellent. That looks like it's doing just fine as well. Very good reflexes there. Alright, now I'm sure you've seen one of these before. We're going to be testing a little differently though. I'm very certain that you can see these right now, but I'm going to dim the lights in a moment, and your vision should be very, very enhanced in the dark, okay? So I'm just going to dim our lights and then I will ask you some questions, okay? Right. There we go. Give your eyes just a moment to adjust. Can you see all right? Good, 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 good. Now, what is this letter here? Good. How about this one here? Good. How about this letter here? Can you see that? Good. How about this one? Alright. This one? Good. How about this one? Good. Now below the line here, how about this one? Good. And how about this one? Good. This one? Good. This one? Excellent. Excellent. That is wonderful to see that your night vision is progressing very well. Let me get those lights back on. Alright. Now for this next test we're going to be testing your colour perception. This might be a bit more difficult in the dark especially. We're going to start out in the light and then I'll turn the lights off, okay? So just do the best that you can. This is one of those skills that might take a bit longer to develop, okay? But just do the best you can. Alright, now can you see a number in the circle here? Good, good, good. How about this one? Can you see a number in there? Excellent, good. But this one, a bit trickier. Can you see a number in there? Right, good. How about this one? Good, alright. Now I'm going to turn off the lights. Give your eyes a moment to adjust there. And we'll just see how you do, okay? Alright, how about this one? Can you see a number in there? Excellent, excellent. Well done. How about this one? Can you see a number? Good, good. This one, can you see? Good. How about this one? Excellent. And how about that one? Wonderful, wonderful. Your vision is very sharp in the light and in the dark. Wonderful sign there. Good, good. Alright. Good, 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 good. Now, next I'm going to be testing your hearing. Have you noticed that your hearing is more acute these days? Good, good, good. I'm going to start out just taking a quick peek in each of your ears and then we'll test the hearing itself, okay? Alright, so I'm just going to come over here. Nice. Okay, alright. Right. Any discomfort when I'm pressing around here? Good. No, I don't see any sort of inflammation. That's good. Alright, wonderful. Take a peek on this side, alright? Okay. So that looks perfectly fine as well. I don't see any redness, irritation. Okay, good, good. No pain with that ear either. Good, alright. Now, I'm going to whisper some words and I want you to tell me what you hear. But unlike at a normal doctor appointment for a mortal, I'm going to move quite far away when I whisper. I want you to tell me what you hear, alright? So just when I say a word, you repeat it back in a normal voice, okay? Alright, I'm going to start walking over here. Coffin. Coffin. Very good. Spider. Spider. Good. Werewolf. going to move to the other side now. Cemetery. Cemetery. Good. Garlic. Garlic. Good. Moonlight. Moonlight. Excellent, excellent. Well done. That was very impressive, actually. Very, very good. Now, I would like to just do a very simple test of your smell, right? This is, of course, important for a vampire to be able to determine different types of blood and things like that. But, you know, it's also just interesting to see how acute your senses have gotten, alright? So, we're going to start out. I'm just going to hold a little vial underneath your nose. You tell me what the substance is and any specifics if you can, okay? Alright, here's the first one. Can you smell it through the glass? That's alright, it's actually a very special type of glass. It's difficult to smell through. Alright. Just going to hold this under your nose here. What does that smell like to you? Blood, good. Can you tell me, is it human or animal? Animal blood, very good. Could you perhaps tell me what type of animal? Very close. It was a fox, actually, but that was rather impressive. Right. Here's our second one. Let's see if you can tell me what this one is. Alright. Give that a little smell. Blood again. Human blood, that's right. Can you tell me anything specific about them? Type A in their 30s. That is very impressive, especially for one so young. Goodness, I suppose perhaps that shouldn't surprise me with who you have as a sire, but still very, very impressive. Alright, one more here. Why don't you tell me what this one is, okay? Alright, give that a whiff. Animal blood, that's right. Cow's blood. Well done, well done. I am very impressed. Right, let me write those down. Passed that on with flying colours, didn't you? Alright, now we're going to do something similar, but we're going to test your taste, alright? I've got a few other vials here. These are diluted, so it might be a little bit difficult to actually tell. But that's sort of the point, is I want to see if you can, right? It's perfectly fine if you can't. Not even some older vampires can be quite as specific as you were. So, I'm just going to put a few little drops of this. And just top. Good. Right. What does that taste like to you? Animal blood, yes. Pig's blood. Very impressive. Wow. Even with it diluted, huh? Right. Now this one is a little different. I'd like you to see if you can figure out why. Alright, open it. There we go. Dips there. Good. Blood mixed with red wine. Correct. Can you tell me what sort of blood? Human, yes. Close. That one was in the 40s or so. Although it might have been early 40s, so you might have been very, very close. one last one here, alright? One more. Again diluted, but I'd just like to see if you can tell me anything about that. Human. The 20s, very good. AB positive. I'm speechless. Wonderful. Very, very, very well done. Right. No problems whatsoever with smell or taste. That is for certain. Alright, now just a few final tests, sort of testing out your facial muscles and your facial feeling, okay? Alright. I've got two different items here. One is a little soft brush, and one is a little pokey thing. It's not all that sharp, but in a moment I'm going to ask you to close your eyes, and then I'll ask you if I touched your face with the soft or the sharp, right? Okay. Close your eyes. Right. Good. 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 Very well done. Your skin still has quite a good sensitivity to it, which is wonderful. Alright, now could you smile very wide for me? Good. Could you frown for me, please? Good. Could you make a cushy face for me, please? Good. Could you raise your eyebrows up? Good. Now scrunch them down. Good. Could you open your mouth very wide? Good. And now close it tight. Good, good. Now turn your head all the way to this side, please. Now turn it all the way to that side. Good. And now give me a nice slow nodding of the head up and down. Wonderful. Any sort of discomfort or anything with any of those? Good. Now I'm just going to press down on your shoulders, and I want you to try to resist, okay? Try to keep your shoulders where they are, alright? Okay, just going to... Good, 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 good. Now could you squeeze my hands, please? That's quite strong, yes. You have quite a lot of strength in those limbs, don't you? Wonderful, wonderful. Right, well, that is all I have for the examination. Was there anything else, any other sort of concerns or just questions that you have about your turning or your new life? Right, good, good. Well, if you do think of anything, you're always welcome here at the Midnight Clinic, alright? Appointment or not, we do certainly take walk-ins anytime after sunset, okay? Alright, now I do think that there is a good hour or so before sunlight. Do you have someone taking you back? Do you need transportation to be safe in the sun? You've got it covered, alright. Of course you do. Well, if you should ever need anything, don't hesitate to ask, okay? Alright. Enjoy your new eternity. I'll see you next time here at the Midnight